So I've just got back from Scotland where I just spent a week filming my second ever feature film, The Dolls, with David Wilde, who wrote, produced, directed, created all of it, and Sarah Paris, the other lead actress. And to be honest, it's taking a minute to come back down to earth and kind of reacclimatise myself to reality because the week was so intense. Having said that, I learned so much, and despite the chaos, I learned a lot. So I thought I'd do a little video on 3 of my biggest takeaways from the week when it comes to making a micro-budget movie. My first lesson is that 90% of filmmaking on a micro-budget movie at least is grind. 10% is the fun, sparkly stuff, the cool posters, the end result. When you're on set and you're making a movie with very little money, you have really limited time. I'm talking about limited days in each set, limited days with each actor. You kind of have to navigate, getting the scenes done with the actors that you have available and the sets that you have available in this tiny time window. So on The Dolls, we had 2 main venues, a strip club venue and an apartment venue. And I got there at the end of the first day where they had a ton of extras and different actors on set in the strip club. And, David was not in the best place when I got there because the day hadn't gone to plan. They had so much to do to the point they couldn't fit everything in, so he had to cut some of the scenes. And there was definitely a moment where he was like, I don't know if we've got a movie here. Because the thing with this stuff is you're running out of time, you have to cut scenes. If you have to cut too many scenes, eventually you don't end up telling the story as well, you don't end up with a movie. So the real risk with this kind of thing is that you just lose too much and then the project just isn't as good. So obviously there are time pressures, there's a lot of pressure to get the scenes done with the actors when you've got them, but it's just a really stressful environment because everyone is there, the money's already been spent, the venues have already been booked. Like, that's the time that you've got. If you don't do it, you potentially don't have a film. And we were all very stressed about that, especially at the start of the shoot. So when I say grind, I really mean grind. I'm talking really long days, sometimes 16-hour days, working past midnight, literally sitting with the script and working out what we're doing the next day as I eat dinner. That level of intensity, just everyone put out, run to the ground. At one point I got sick. I spent one night puking my guts up. I don't think that was exhaustion. I think that was a supplement that I'd had that had just not agreed with me. But I just remember being sick and just thinking, my God, this better pass because we've got a full day of filming tomorrow. We've got so much to do. And if I can't film, we really are fucked because all the scenes I had were, a lot of them were the real storytelling dialogue scenes that really pushed the story onwards. So I couldn't afford to be written off due to sickness. Another thing with it being a grind as well is it can be quite isolating when it comes to friends and family. Like when you're on a shoot like this, nothing else exists. There's literally no time for social time, there's no time for friends. Anyone that is not at the shoot kind of doesn't exist while it's happening because you are so focused on what you have to get done within the time constraints. It's just very hard to make space for anything else. And I think when it comes to friends and family, it can sometimes be quite difficult for them to understand what it's like being on set. Unless you are on set, how would you know how busy we are? So I can see how loved ones could feel a bit neglected when people are working on projects like this. But unfortunately, it comes with territory. So yeah, first lesson that it really is a grind. I really mean it. I don't think you do this kind of thing, like filmmaking, especially micro-budget filmmaking, unless you are really passionate about the story and about being a creator, because it is not an easy job. There is going to be a lot of sacrifice that you make, whether it's time, long days, potentially health. In some cases, like me, I didn't really get as much time to recover from being very sick as I'd have liked, but I cared about telling the story, so I was willing to put the health thing aside to get the job done. And that's what I mean. It takes a level of work that I'm not sure is suited to everyone. My second takeaway or lesson when it comes to micro-budget filmmaking is that the magic truly is in the people. The Dolls wouldn't have got made unless we had the people that we did on board. You kind of need a collective group of absolute nutters that are all passionate and crazy about getting the project completed, as David is. And I will say, with me and Stella especially, we were fully on board. We were prepared to work till midnight or beyond, whatever it took to get all of the scenes done while we were up there in Scotland, we were determined to do. And the rest of the team David had were great as well. We had Stefano, who was doing the documentary, filming behind the scenes stuff. Steve, who, I mean, he did a bit of everything. He did a lot of holding the mic. I feel so bad, I can't actually remember everyone's name, but everyone was on board. And also everyone had about 10 jobs. I remember us laughing at one point because collectively we were all working on continuity, because this is it, you don't have a staff member doing continuity. So if you care about the movie looking good, everyone's paying attention to it and trying to help, because there's only so much David can do. He's already running the entire project, navigating all the actors, the entire team, filming, directing, everything he's doing. We'd all chip in when it came to continuity. I think it really felt to everyone that we had this shared mission and purpose to get this film made and the story told. And I think that's what you need, because if you don't have the shared vision, there isn't going to be enough energy going into the project to make it happen. Like I said before, David wasn't even sure if we would have a movie after the first day, but the team's collective effort on the following days meant that we caught up and we got 80 to 90% of the movie shot. There are a few pickups that we'll shoot at a later date, but he was prepared to do a couple of them anyway at a later time, so it's not the end of the world. Point is, we have a movie, and that wouldn't have been possible without the community and the team spirit and the work that everyone collectively put into this project. I also want to do a little bit of a shout out to David Wilde here. Like I said, he wrote the dolls and Psycho Sex dolls, he created the entire concept, and he directs it too. And David is an absolute nutter, a good kind of nutter, but he's absolutely nuts, because that man just believed in his project, believed in us, and believed that we could get it done. It was a really ambitious project, like a lot of action scenes, tons more different locations than the first film, and also tons more actors as well. Psycho Sex Dolls was mostly shot in one studio space over 7 days. The Dolls was filmed in 2 different sets. Well, the bulk of it was filmed in 2 different sets over 5 days. And that is not a lot of time when trying to get the scenes that David was trying to get. Yeah, I think you need a bit of a nutter with a project like this, because without that crazy belief and vision, this kind of thing doesn't get made. It just doesn't. So I mean it in the most affectionate way. David, you're nuts, but I respect you for it. And I think I'm slightly nutty too, to be doing the hours that I've just done. So yeah, the magic is the people. I'm still blown away, to be honest, when I think about what we achieved collectively. It actually blows my mind seeing the teamwork and the community and the spirit that we all poured into this. It's actually very touching seeing what can happen when you have lots of people that care about the same thing all working together. It makes me wonder what more we could achieve in life if more people with shared passion and shared interest did work together, because what I saw on set this week was unbelievable. Like, I'm obsessed with the team. You were all amazing. Just throwing out there, I actually made 4 vlogs over the course of the shoot. So they'll be coming to my YouTube channel soon. So make sure you look out for them if you want to get a glimpse of the craziness behind the scenes. It really was chaotic. There were a lot of different outfits, a lot of different sets, scenes, things happening, and I managed to capture quite a lot of it. So I'm really excited for you guys to see the vlogs. So yeah, keep an eye out for them. Gosh, speaking of everyone doing about 10 different jobs, me and Stella were getting together before the shoots to do lines and prepare our costumes and stuff like that. And you know, we obviously didn't have a costume designer or anything like that. Me and Stella on our own were kind of working out the clothing that our characters would have worn. And I remember like analysing the colours that my character would have worn and why, what each outfit kind of suggested about what she was going through at the time. It was a bit excessive, but you know, I wanted to help with these things because we didn't have someone on set as part of the team doing this, but it was something that I could contribute. And I kind of think that those little things that you do to think about how something is portrayed on screen, if you can add that yourself on a project like this, why not? Because someone might get that. So, you know, just little things like that, me and Stella were quite on the ball with too. Maybe we cared too much, but hey, we had fun doing it, and maybe you guys will be able to tell why we made certain decisions when it came to costume. So my third lesson when it comes to making a micro-budget movie is that belief is one of the main things that matters, because without belief, this wouldn't have got made. It wouldn't have even begun, to be honest. Not only does it require, obviously, a creative to write the story, build the vision, write the script. If they have no belief in their ability to actually put it off, nothing gets made. So again, David is the man behind all of this, but he's nuts. He believed he could get this done, and because he believed it, we believed it too, and we did get it done. Like I said earlier, there were moments when we weren't even sure that this would be a movie because so many scenes had been cut and we were just losing time. You know, there were actors cancelled and didn't show up. Just, if you can imagine like chaotic things happening, it probably happened. But the key thing is that we kept going regardless. I think David's faith is kind of contagious. Like, he started it off with this vision, getting us all in one place. I turned up on that first day and was like, oh God, this is going to be a challenge. And I remember me and Stella just being like, yeah, this is going to be a rough one. We're worried, but we're going to do everything in our power to make this happen. We were like, yeah, we'll work 18-hour days if we have to. Like, we will literally go until this movie is shot. And that all kind of came from David having enough faith in us all to even get us all there in the first place. At the end of the day, everything was paid for, venues were booked. Me and Stella drove from the Midlands to Glasgow to shoot this. I'm not going all that way to not put my all in and shoot the bloody movie, you know? But yeah, I kind of think that the energy ends up a bit contagious. So me and Stella were all on board, but also the team like Stefano and Steve, we were just willing to do what it took. And that was a collective effort. It doesn't just happen for no reason. It takes one people having the vision, believing we can do it, and everyone else saying, fuck yes, we can do this, and then doing the work to follow through and get it done. One thing I found funny actually was I think that David Wilde kind of came back to life over the course of the shoot. Like I said, I arrived there on the first day and he'd had a tough day. And he looked really, no offense, David, he looked rough. He was really tired. He'd not slept properly in days, apparently. And I was like, oh my God, obviously thinking this is going to be work to get this done. If it's already this much of a struggle and he's already this shattered. But what was cool is as we kept going, as we kept working, as we kept making progress, and as he got a bit more sleep, it was like I saw the light come back into his eyes, which was pretty cool because I can't imagine what it's like to put so much money, time, effort into creating a film, writing the script, doing all the prep to get there and think, fuck, I don't know if we can do this. Seeing David become more hopeful as we progressed was really lovely because he was carrying on regardless. Like, there was no way he was going to back out, but it's obviously like it's hard. It's hard to see. It's hard to see the worry in someone's eyes when, you know, their project could be struggling. So it was really cool seeing him come back to life as the days passed on. I remember by the last night, the mood had definitely shifted away from stress and like that tension in the air to hope and excitement that we were close to completing. But we were also freaking giddy. Like, I don't even know what it was. What line was it? But David kept getting the giggles. You know, you see it in behind the scenes stuff on movie sets, don't you? Well, actors get the giggles. We were so stressed through most of this shoot. There was no time for that. No one was laughing. But towards the end, we were all overtired. It was like, God, probably like 10 or 11 at night. We're trying to film this scene. Oh, I know what it was. Stella had this line, and Stella's just the cutest. She has this adorable Maltese accent. And what was it? That's fuck all. It won't even make sense on this video why it was so funny, but I promise you, the way she's delivering this line was just setting us all off. It was so fucking funny. But that is what we needed. We were only able to laugh because we were so close to getting it done. So I'm glad that we got the giggles because it's a fond memory for me. So yeah, blind belief really matters on a micro budget movie set for sure. We needed every last drop of it, if belief came in droplets. So there we go. Those are my 3 lessons that I've reflected on so far, at least from my week away making this micro budget movie. God, I hope it made sense. It felt like I was a little bit all over the place there. Like I said, I'm still coming back down to earth after the chaos of this week. Just to give you an idea of some of the chaos, right? I'm playing Chloe, who is now one of the main characters. She is an AI sex doll who receives an upgrade, so she actually kind of can think more independently and has more intelligence. but we had a shortage of girls playing other AI robot dolls. So David came up with the idea of using me in different wigs, because you'd kind of assume that if dolls are being made in a factory, a lot of them would have similar looks, similar faces. So not only was I my main character, Chloe, I was also multiple different dolls in different wigs and different outfits, which, don't get me wrong, great fun, loved doing it. But the day we filmed all of those scenes, I think I must have been in 10 different outfits. It was so intense. I was doing all of that stuff, and that was more action, some sexy stuff, some action stuff, some violent stuff. It's a kind of a sexy horror movie, in case you didn't know. And then later that night, I had to switch back to actually being Chloe, who is a totally different type of character, because she actually has intelligence and some independent thought. So it was just nuts, you know. I'm not surprised that I'm still feeling a bit frazzled, to be honest. How could you not after a week like that? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my 3 takeaways. I've really enjoyed taking this walk and sharing them with you. It's kind of nice to get my thoughts onto a video where I can reflect back on them later, actually. What a week. One of the best weeks of my life, also one of the hardest and one of the most stressful, but I wouldn't change it for the world. We got so much done, and I'm so grateful to David for the opportunity. I really loved my part in the first movie, but I was more of a prop, and it was really lovely that David saw my potential and gave my character an upgrade after he saw what I could do, gave me the opportunity to do a lot more acting in this movie. So yeah, can't wait for you guys to see it. Remember to look out for my vlogs. I made 4 vlogs over the course of the shoot. They're pretty crazy. They're cool if you like seeing behind the scenes stuff. I'm so grateful again to David for letting me film them. It's going to be such a great memory to look back on, all of those videos. So yeah, keep an eye out for those. Give me a like and a subscribe. Leave me a comment if you've got any questions, if you'd like to hear any other stuff about the movie. I've got lots to talk about. I just need to know what you're interested in. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.